Okay, this is the second part of the Tangerine unit, and this is just a possible setup for a reading response journal. So sometimes it helps if you just have your students keep everything they need in a plastic baggie in their backpack. So in this plastic baggie, I have some sticky notes, my novel, a highlighter and a pen, and then my journal. So this is what we want to focus on, is the journal. Okay, so from the unit overview, I had showed you where you could print out some things for your journal. So this is just a regular composition notebook. If you can have one for your kids that's devoted to reading response, that would be great. But if not, in their composition notebook, maybe just section off with a paper clip a section for the Tangerine novel. So here, I have the reading discussion guide. This was from the drive, just pasted into the inside cover, and it might be more helpful if you use this one on colored paper. So here on the first pages, we have the Notice and Note Tangerine Signpost Reading Log, and this is for pages 1 through 4, Untitled Prologue. So the idea is for the students, as they're reading pages 1 through 4, to notice any signposts or any of the big questions, and they would put the page number where they found it, the quotation from where it's found, and then the answer to the anchor question that goes with that signpost, if it's a signpost. Now for the Tangerine unit, I would do this together. I would read pages 1 through 4 as a class and go through this one together. So the other side of the page is your reading response, where you're going to answer questions. And these are kind of guided questions. So this part is for independent, and then this part is just for the teacher to kind of check the important things from this reading. Okay, so you'll see pages 1 through 4, Untitled Prologue, pages 1 through 4, Untitled Prologue. These two things should go together in your notebook. So I would also complete these together the first time you start this, so that students know how you want them to respond. So number 1, what does the memory moment in this section reveal about Paul and his family? So ideally, you would then the students would write number 1 down here, and then they would complete their answer in complete sentences. If you use paragraph form of real, then you could have them answer using real and using text evidence. Okay, so they would have 1 and 2. So then the next page is just another signpost reading log, but this time it's for pages 7 through 33. And then here are my reading response questions for the same pages. One thing I think I would change is, like, this has 2 questions here. There's not a whole lot of room for them to respond, so maybe you want to give them this and the next page. Depends on how you want to set up your notebook. Now the first part is all the reading response log for the whole novel. The second part, what I would start gluing at the back, or after I do my reading response, these were just some of the goals that we worked on. So while we're reading through the novel, we're talking about conflict, internal and external, and in the unit there's a video for them to take notes. Well, then this is their student input. Well, their output is going to be, for each character in Tangerine, describe a conflict they're facing and label it as internal or external. So here's the characters: Paul, Eric, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Fisher. So at one point I might have them fill this out for these characters, okay? And then at another point while we're reading, maybe there's a new character introduced or something introduced. I can just go and modify this with whatever characters I want the students to focus on. Okay, so there's another one if they want to do that. Another thing in my journal I have is my characterization. So throughout the novel, I'm going to be describing a character and their traits. Maybe after I've read a part where Paul has done something in my novel, then in the drive it might say, go fill out a new character form. This is what they're talking about. But this way I can keep it all in one spot. So you can use as many of these as you want for all the different characters, since they're kind of generic. Now this next page, I have a project page that is also in the drive, and this is their setting comparison. So I put this in here to show you, even if you're doing nonfiction readings with this, they can just fold it, anything, and put it in their notebook. So then, after they've completed the unit, they have everything that they've done for Tangerine all in one spot. And when this is filled up with their thoughts, with their notes, everything that goes with it, then they can really see how much work that they've done for this novel. And then you could also take this as a grade, have them decorate the first page for Tangerine. You can do a lot with this book, and it keeps them on track and where they have one place for everything.